All right. Hello, hello, hello. As you can see, there's a little bit of a different thing going on with this video. It's been a few weeks, but I just got through with finals. My school year is over, other than summer school that I have to go do here in a couple weeks. But now I have a lot more time to post videos, so I hope to be consistent for a couple weeks before I have to go back to summer school. Maybe even throwing a couple live streams in the mix of me waking up and me trading and kind of showing it all on camera and the process that I go through on my intraday schedule. So today we're going to be focused on something a little different, but it still goes into it. My general topic on this channel is going to be self-improvement and day trading. So today we're going to kind of talk about how those two things coincide, which is your habits. We can get rid of this bad here. But your habits and reasons that you're profitable or you're not profitable. A good example of this will be gluttony. Gluttony is like the overconsumption of something. So the common example is being like overweight or obese, constantly indulging yourself in food for the pleasure rather than the fuel that you gain from it. But it can apply to a lot of things. Like doom scrolling on TikTok is gluttony. It's the overconsumption of something. Spending more time socializing than doing your work is a form of gluttony. All of these things will translate to the markets, because in the market, over trading is a form of gluttony. I mean, if you are over consuming your time in the market, you're over consuming the allotted amount of micros or minis that you're allowed from your funded programs. That's a form of gluttony. If your daily bias is wrong and you lose a trade, you know that your daily bias is wrong. Why are you still trading after that? You should be done for the day. Some people allow 2 losses a day, but I think sticking to one, especially as a beginner, is the better way to go. But gluttony is represented as overtrading in the markets. Something like lust in the real world is something like, as comedic that it's talked about, like self-pleasure, things like that. That's a form of lust, your physical desires. In the markets, it could be represented as, dreaming so much about being rich that you over-risk, or that you trade on days that you shouldn't be trading on. That's lust represented in your trades. So if you experience either of these things, right, outside of the markets, then inside the markets, they'll most likely be represented too. So you have to, as a trader or someone who wants to be a trader, you need to look and not just look at like what you're doing on the charts, Obviously take that into account. Be like, oh, I feel like I overtrade a lot. But after you find your weaknesses inside of trading, look inside of yourself and say, what are my issues that I could improve? If you're overweight, you're obese, then you should put some effort towards losing weight, because that gluttony will transfer over to your trades. And then you'll start to lose more money and you'll overtrade, and all of those things will occur. I've been through that personal experience. I was pre-diabetic when I was 13. Like, I've been obese. I've been fat. And I'd say, although I still have more to go to where I'd be happy, I'm a lot leaner now and I'm very healthy. And I feel like that gluttony isn't in my trades anymore compared to 6 months back. I'd say I was still pretty overweight and I was paper trading. And I was trading like 4 times a day. Part of that is probably due to inexperience, but gluttony is definitely something that comes into play there. Also, overconsumption of media. That's another form of gluttony that isn't necessarily talked about. Lust. TikTok plays a role in this. If you're scrolling on TikTok all day, not only are you actively experiencing gluttony, if you're looking at women on your For You page and, having those physical desires. Not to say that everybody's Christian, but I mean, as one, I do believe that you should avoid lust in any way that you can. It is bad and it leads you down a bad path. So in indulging in those desires is something that will bring you down in trading. Understanding that it may be classified as normal, but also understanding that being rich at a young age isn't normal should hopefully help you bring that into perspective, that you need to do things that most people aren't doing. And that means avoiding these, commonly represented as okay things like drinking, smoking, being lustful, not being focused, saying, oh, let me enjoy my young years. All of these things add up and they compound just like interest. Like, you could find examples to cross-reference from bad and good all day you want. From your goals to the things that you want to avoid. They all coincide in some sort of way with your habits. So, a good habit would be like, waking up early. If you're waking up early outside of trading, then obviously that will help with not waking up way before market open. Waking up right when market opens. Then you miss out on your pre-market analysis and you have a higher chance of your daily bias being wrong. So if you are already awake, maybe you woke up, you did some fasted cardio, and then you ate a healthy breakfast before market even opened. You started off the day productive, you're going to go into the day productive. That energy carries over. But if you wake up for me, market opens at 8:30. If you wake up at 8:15, you hop on the charts immediately, then chances are you're going to be, less there for the first hour and a half of the markets, and that's going to mess you up that day. So that habit, the good and the bad, carry over. If you think about your savings outside of trading, it's something that I struggle with. If you're very good at saving your money and you don't irrationally spend, then inside of the markets you will over risk less, you will over trade less, and overall you'll have better risk management from the get-go. But if you have bad saving habits and your mentality is kind of like mine, where it's rather than saving, just make more money, then sure, you can find success, but it's something that you should ditch. You should get rid of that habit. It's a bad way of thinking. It is flawed. So look inside of yourself when you're asking yourself why you aren't profitable and why you aren't reaching your goals, and see what may even be considered normal, but you think is keeping you average. If there's anything that's keeping you average, then you should find a way to change it. If your friend group is keeping you average, they're people that don't have dreams and aspirations, you don't need to ditch your friends immediately, but try to, urge them to want to be more. And if you can't get those people to do that and they're stuck in their ways, then it's time to say goodbye. Realistically, as someone who has those dreams and aspirations and wants to be, more than the average, you need to surround yourself with people that want to be or are more than the average. And you can't do that in a group of average people. It just makes things harder. I know it's a little off topic, but it is true. Those friend groups aren't necessarily bad habits, but they are. I mean, hanging around non-successful people or people who don't want to strive to be great are going to influence you the same way that if all of your friends drink, you're going to be influenced to drink. It all leads down to a path of being average or being not successful. And if you watch my channel and you dream the same dreams that I do, then you'll understand that and you'll find ways to get away from that position. So overall, I think that we can come to the general consensus that your habits, good or bad, carry over to reasons that you are profitable, right? You're making money, or reasons that you're not profitable and you're not making money, right? And what I would say is, I'll make a little chart over here, and it's do your good habits outweigh your bad habits. Think of your habits kind of like a win rate, right? So if your bad habits, right, if you have more bad habits than good, you're gluttonous, you're lustful, you are any of the 7 deadly sins. We'll put it that way. I'm sure you can find a comparison. Right? No. Over here, your good habits to do. Yes. Then you look deeper. You say, if it's yes, what's the ratio? If it's no, improve. Until you're at a yes. And then you're here. And then it's, what's the ratio? If it's below 80%, then you have more work to do. If it's above 80%, then you have a lot less work to do, right? But this chart right here is something to follow, right? And if it's below 80%, then target the easy ones first. So target simple goals first, then difficult, and do that until you can say that your good habits outweigh your bad habits by above 80% or 80%. And at that point, you can say, treat it like a win rate. Nobody has a 100% win rate. You cannot 100% of the time stop yourself from having a bad habit or, fleeing back to a bad habit on a bad day. It'll happen. So you'll never really be above 90%. So if you're here and you're above this 80%, then consider yourself that the habits are not the issue in your trading. But if you are, below, if your bad habits outweigh, then improve. And if the ratio is below 80, then improve. Until you can confidently say that your habits are not the reason why you are being held back in trading. And when you come to that consensus, then start working on other things. Learn more concepts, maybe backtest a new strategy. Not to say that the strategy is the issue, because there's plenty of people that are, rich on any strategy. It's just your habits are a large portion of your trades, inside and outside of the markets. But the ones outside affect you almost just as much as the ones inside. That's where I'm going to end today. I just want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Leo. He lended me this really nice face cam that allows me to make these videos a little more personal and kind of involve myself in the videos more than just my voice. So I'd like to say thank you, and I'm really excited to move forward on this channel. I've got a whole lot of ideas sitting here on this notebook. I've got pages on top of pages of ideas, and I'm ready to just record them, push them out, and kind of get my name out there, help people as much as I can. So I want to thank you for giving me the platform that I have, and I cannot wait to see it grow. I wish everyone the best, and have a good one.